ready to do is launch this. Let me share my screen. So we're getting ready to, let me go to the home.
Yeah.
So this is my new website. Can
Cool.
you see that? Okay. Kind of did some things. We've got some of our Google reviews. We talk about our code red, our repair, our e-mobile repair thing, and then some brands that we sell and demo. And right here, when it says shop, we have a placeholder for haggle. So once I can, so what they're looking for is just like what I have here for Pedigo, is the back end part. So it's like I almost need the back end to haggle, so that when we go in here and I
show me what happens when you go to Pedigo.
Can you see that?
I can see. No, I just see.
Okay.
I still see the main.
Let me stop sharing. Let me go back in because I think I have to share it in a different way. So that's what you would see, is it brings up my Pedigo site.
Okay.
So what I'd like for it to do is bring up the Haggle Redondo Beach site.
Okay.
So right when they click down now, what will be nice, let me stop sharing.
Could I ask you a question on the screen you just showed me? You don't have to bring it up again. Is that's not your website, right? That's like a Pedigo website?
Yeah. So what happens is that anytime they click on, they go to any of these hyperlinks up here.
Right.
It like if I go down to special financing, it goes into like my special financing. It
right,
shows.
I can see that. Yeah.
Okay. So if I go into my service and repairs, it goes right into, here they can start scheduling appointments.
But my question is on the shop. So which are the sites that you manage? So you obviously have this main homepage, Pedigo, South Bay, and more. But then if someone were to go to buy a bike, then that's like a Pedigo corporate or.
So correct. So this is Pedigo corporate, and they can still buy a bike because I am on Shopify on the back end. I get paid, and it still shows but for Haggle, at least I need them to be able to go on and see what's going. Now, once I get Haggle up, these guys every month are going to go in. Like I might have one of these icons be moved, and it might talk about what Haggle is, and I could bring the Haggle up here. But right now I just have it as a toggle down, if that makes sense.
And what happens when you click on it now?
I think right now, because this is just a temporary site, I think right now I have a placeholder that says coming soon.
Okay. So a couple things. This is very useful. So a couple things. One is what you could do now is you could go directly you could link it to your current Haggle store with all the Haggle items on it.
That's what I would like for it to do. Yes.
Well, you can do that now just by sharing the link to the store.
Okay. So I need to do that.
Well, you can do that, but they can't. That will just get them the price, And I could show you how to do it, but it's basically, how you could get the QR code. Instead of the QR code, there's two like little boxes overlapping, and that will give you a link, and you can do it at the store level or at the item level. But if you do it at the store level, it'll go in and you'll see
store level. Yeah.
Yeah, and I could probably send you the link if you can't find it, but it's just, or I could show you how to do it now.
So now, is there going to be a way that if like what I have with Pedigo and with some of these other ones, let me show you these other brands that I'm going to be bringing in, Electrify and Troxus.
Right.
What they're doing, and they are coming soon too, because what I'm doing on the back end is I'm getting Spotify. So
Shopify.
Shopify. Yeah. What I'm doing is getting them so that if they build a cart, it'll automatically register to my store, and basically it gets paid, and then like I pay the buy. It's so on the back end, we're working out the kinks.
Right.
But it gets my store gets credited. I'd love to be able to do that with Haggle. More to allow them so that they go in and they haggle the price, and instead of giving them just a code, they now get to pay for that bike, and we're putting it on hold for them.
Right. Okay. So that's a couple things. For now, right away, you can get just link to your Haggle store, and that'll let them start negotiating on the items that you've set up there.
Okay.
There's two other things that we can do. One is we could set up, and this is probably a month or two out.
Okay.
We're still finalizing that. We could set up a Haggle store where they can buy the bike on the store.
Perfect.
And you would get paid in the back end and all that.
That's perfect. That would be awesome.
And the second thing we're trying to do generally, and we'd love to test it out with you, is anybody who's got a Shopify site. So even the partners you just mentioned, or Pedigo Corporate, we could build in a Haggle button in that site.
Okay.
So that's kind of our big idea, I would say. It's not quite as simple as it's another store or here's a link, but it because you have to do a little bit of work to kind of integrate the site. So we might need an introduction or entree to corporate Pedigo to say, can we test this out at Janine's store or for an item or two? And we're setting up so it's very little work, but it's still, we have to work with them to get the two systems to talk to each other.
Okay. Well, and I will tell you, part of my other phase is that I'm going to be putting everything in my store on my own shop. So it's like on the drop down, instead of it saying Pedigo, it's going to say Pedigo South Bay and more. So then that's the one they're going to be able to click on, because the bikes that I currently purchase, they can go ahead and purchase, they don't have to go through the actual website.
And that
you could
site's going to be your own Shopify site. Is that right?
Yeah. So then I'll be setting up my own Shopify site, so we could test with that one first.
Yeah, we would love to do that. We would love to do that.
That works, and then, but that's going to be phase 3, I would say, of this. But what I'm trying to do is get this to launch so that when it, at least by Beach Life, as I'm trying to promote the website, people are starting to see and they're playing around with it. No.
Right. So I like that 3 phases, right? The first phase, you should be able to put the link on right now.
Yeah. So that's what they're doing. They're going to launch this. If I didn't get
no, meaning the Haggle link, right?
Yeah. So let's just get what the store on there. And then, and I'm hoping that it's really simple so that when they drop down a Haggle, it really just shows all the bikes that are in my store.
Yeah.
Now I know that I need to do my own. I'll go on the back end. This is part of my to-do list this week, is to get all those bikes, especially the ones that are going to be at Beach Life, on the site. And pictures and all that, so that we can go ahead and get at least some good momentum on that.
Right.
That's phase 1. And then phase 2 will be, let's try to dive in and see if we can get something on the back end, or maybe I have to do the Pedigo South Bay first, and then we start linking it. But in phase 2, my hope is that because I'm going to be doing a monthly newsletter, and then eventually growing to podcasts, or blogs, having a blog about what Haggle is and how we're partnering, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah. So I think that sounds great. We still have kind of a little bit of a fork in the road choice to make, phase 2 or 3. Again, one is we should have the capability in a month or two. I can keep you posted, where we could sell bikes for you and where people can haggle for the bikes. There's, to me, I'm not crazy about that, just because then you'd have to manage it on our site too. You know what I mean? Like, you'd have to put on, here's a bike and here's the price and all that separately from other places, and what I'd really am more interested in, because we think we could do this for a lot of commerce sites, is within your Shopify site, add Haggle capability. And that's really what we're trying to set up to do for everyone. So definitely be happy to, sell bikes on our Shopify site, Haggle Shopify site, branded South Bay. but it's still a separate site. It'd be better for you, I think, to go directly to where you want to get to. So we're not both kind of doing an interim half step, you know?
Yeah. I'm almost wondering if we just put this link on just to make get the familiarity of it. But I'm also thinking that maybe, as I'm starting to make my store go on Shopify, that maybe that's where we link it.
Yeah. And I would also say, you know, totally, I think that's where we link it. And when we say link it, we would just add that haggle window capability within your site.
Sure.
And we're, you know, I'll talk to Scott, but I'm so interested in that, that we would also help you set up the site if you know, to get it to all to work. Cause I think it's a good answer for you. And we're super interested in it in terms of selling that to the world. One other thing, just so you're aware, and again, it's all, we can always haggle everything, but our business model is going to be that we would take 10% of the improvement, right? So you have a bike for $3,000 and your floor is $2,500, you get $2,800 for it. We improved it $300. We would take 30 of that.
Got it.
Only when you sell something.
Got it.
So something like that. That's the plan. I think that's it. That's excellent. Okay. I'll know more if you have any questions about how to put that link on the site. And are you guys live on the site now?
No, not yet. This week they're going to go live, I believe, by Friday.
Okay, awesome. Exciting.
So if you don't mind sending me the link just so I can make sure I got the right link, because that would be the other bad stuff.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to try to get in there this week to get bikes that I know for sure are going to be at Beach Life, and then some other bikes up here on there.
Yeah, awesome. And then I'll keep you posted. I'll both on when we have a time frame for when we'd be ready to do the Shopify piece for you.
Got it.
Awesome.
Perfect. That's all I needed for now. I mean, this
is very, very helpful. I'm glad we did the Teams or the
kind of. I mean, this has been a long time coming. Most Pedigo doesn't like us to do this, but I'm trying to beta test this, and I really do believe that this could really. I mean, at the end of the day, if they were paying my rent, I would say go for it. But you know, we have to do these things to kind of keep ourselves in the market.
Yeah, and I think you can be a trailblazer there too. Once it's up and running and stuff, then you know, I think if you prove it out, we can go to Pedigo and say, hey, we can add this on the main site too.
Yep.
You know, and you can give it as a service to all your folks who are trying to move inventory.
Yeah.
You know, and on that main site too. So that could be a good entree. The last thing I was going to mention to you, we did a little, like Scott was saying, what activity did we get? And this is what we found just looking at all the reports to date, or at least maybe is the last 6 months or something. But you had like maybe close to 300 events. Someone bid or browse, so that I think I'd have to look at numbers. You had like 24 agreed prices. You know.
Oh, on mine.
Yeah, and so if all those were sales, right, it would have been 60,000 in sales and $5,000 improvement. Now, not everyone who got a completed haggle agreed price bought. And then maybe some on the same side, sometimes some people who browse start up a conversation and bought without going through the whole haggle process. So net, we think it's still compelling.
Okay.
And then when we have it within Shopify and online, then we'll really know the answer on how much really did it move the needle, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been doing a couple of different little webinars. And the consumers are just really online. They really, they really want that online, that hassle-free.
Yeah.
You know, I think that this will be great if I can get everything and everyone to go on Shopify, or at least some type of link. Right now, Pedigo is not on Shopify. We're moving over to Shopify, but right now we are on. It's a different one. It's a different platform.
Okay. WooCommerce or something there.
Yeah, it's still paying, still on the back end. I get funded and the bike gets, so I basically pay for the bike and then I get the remains. Pedigo gives me the credit type of thing.
And also just on our strategy as a side note, like whether or not whatever Pedigo corporate's on, we want to be able to add the haggle button option to whatever commerce they do. Without getting into the technical stuff, that's kind of where we're trying to go. If it's Shopify, it'll be even easier. But no matter what commerce site you use, we can get that talking to haggle to get the price worked out.
So, and that's where, I'm hopeful that they're going to be going towards Shopify. They've got a different one right now. I can't even think of it right now, but or Ship Early. I think it's called Ship Early. It's another commerce site. So it's just one of those that, we just want to make sure that at least on the back end, and that's why I'm going to be working with Electrify and Troxus to be doing the exact same thing.
Excellent. Okay, great. Keep in touch. It's good to see you. And exciting times. And I won't be in town for Beach Life, but I'm excited to hear how you do. And Scott and Eric can support. Okay.
Yeah. Awesome. Thanks for taking the time. All right. Take care.